Okay. Okay, are we on? How... Oh dear. Hold on. I thought I had this fixed. Is it still... Okay, good. Good. I'm looking at OBS. I think everything is fine. I need to turn my volume down, actually. I can't hear myself. Alrighty. Welcome to the stream. I'm playing some... Let me know how the audio is and everything. I have not streamed on YouTube in literal ages, and everything is different now, and I actually have to hit the go live button instead of just starting my OBS, and oh boy, this is just nightmarish. Yeah, so hopefully this is working. Someone please let me know in the chat if this is working. I think we're good. So, and again, let me know about the audio and everything, if the music's too loud or too quiet or whatever else. So, let's get started without further ado. Apologies to anyone watching this on hold on, I gotta Okay, sweet, good to know. Thank you, Biggity Boy. It's also good to know that my... Yeah, okay. Alright. So, yeah, again, apologies if you're watching this on archive. I haven't streamed in literal years, and YouTube's all weird now, and, I'm a professional, I promise. So, we are getting started with... I'm gonna, like, try and make sure that I can actually, like, keep track of the chat. No promises there. Sorry about that. But I am trying. So let's just go ahead and get started on the... Because, like, if you're anything like me, then you're not going to be willing to wait, like, 30 minutes into the video to find out that answer to that one question about Otoing that you have, so I'm just going to get the tutorial stuff out of the way first. The structure of these voice banks is pretty simple. So, essentially for videos and for videos. Jesus, okay. Oh boy, it has been a long night. So it's a simple enough structured Oto. Essentially there's only a few types and I'll just go over those now. So we've got our dash vowels, which is the starting vowel. The pre-utterance goes like right at the start, and then the rest of this doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you have a decent amount of space in the front of the recording so that it doesn't get cut off or anything. And then as far as vowel-vowel transitions, you want to put the pre-utterance right about there. So you want the overlap kind of at the end of where this vowel stops being consistent with itself, and you want the pre-utterance right before this becomes very clearly the second vowel. And, yeah, as far as consonant and right blank, just, you know, make sure it's very nice and even in here. The, vowel endings, you want the pre-utterance right at the end of the vowel. And then just make sure that this is empty. You can't have the right blank and the consonant touching or else it'll crash, but, like, just make sure there's plenty of empty space right after here. And so... So, sorry, I'm still adjusting things. And then we get to the consonant odos, which are pretty simple. So we've got a CV. And I'm gonna actually use the second syllable for this, because essentially you want the left blank to be about where the previous vowel stops, and then you want to make sure for a hard consonant like this that the overlap is not touching the consonant at all. There needs to be a little bit of breathing room. And then change the pre-utterance to be the correct, like, length. And then that goes right after the consonant and the, basically right before the vowel starts. And then you want to adjust your consonant and right blank to basically the same. VCs, depends on... It depends on the consonant type, and I'll go through the others here in a second. But with the VCs, you want to, again, leave the overlap where it is, but make sure it's at the end of where this vowel is sort of consistent with itself, and then change this, the pre-utterance value, so that it's at the end of the vowel. And then for hard consonants like K, we want empty space, just nothing here. Don't include the consonant at all. It'll stutter, it'll sound weird, just trust me on this. Then we have the unvoiced consonants. This is not a VC. Basically, so what with these is, obviously, since there is no empty space, we can't really do that, but the pre-utterance and overlap and everything is exactly the same. But what we want to do with the right blank and the consonant is we want to include as much of the consonant as possible in the actual consonant parameter. And the fact that one of the parameters is called consonant really messes up making an auto tutorial. I cannot emphasize that enough. It's actually insane. So, yeah, there's that. And then we have, scroll down a bit, we have voiced consonants, which work basically the same way, but, oh shit, wrong button. But since they're voiced, you can actually stretch and loop the consonant between, in this empty space here. Does that make sense? And then the last thing we're gonna go over real quick is the C-dash onos, which basically work exactly like CVs, just that the vowel is nothing. So you want the pre-utterance right here, at the end of the consonant before the aspiration. Make sure that the consonant parameter covers. Hi! Nice to see you! Welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming. I was just going over the basic odo types. You can rewind a bit if you wanna hear that. But yeah. It's basically a CV, but the vowel is silence. Antiquity, the old CV-C system had dash C's, which I got rid of because they don't really serve any purpose. They kind of, like, it's kind of nice for, like, soft consonants like S and whatever to, like, round off that front bit, but you can do that with the envelope, so, like, it doesn't really contribute anything. Speaking of those soft consonants, obviously there's no aspiration to speak of, but you can kind of see where, like, the main bit of the consonant ends. So you want to, like, kind of... You want the pre-utterance to be there, and then leave a little bit of the runoff consonant in the consonant area for those C-dashes. And then we have CC cons. I forgot how this bank works, and I'm really flustered because, like, the stream didn't entirely run. So we have a couple different CCs included. So we have the starting CCs, which kind of work like CVs, but the second C is the vowel. So we'll do... No. Like that. like so. Just the pre-utterance goes between the two consonants, so it would go. And basically, you'll tell if it's a starting or an ending consonant by whether you recorded it at the start or at the end. Which makes things pretty simple. We also have, to pair with these, we have the underscore CVs, which work basically like regular CVs. Just make sure that that consonant before it is cut off by the left blank. And then you just auto it the same way you auto any other CV. So then and this is kind of on me, and this might sound a little confusing, but I added another type of VC because it was kind of difficult. It was kind of basically it was difficult to like blend multiple consonants together instead of you know, so there's two CCs now for endings. There's this one and this one. And so basically this one, you want to put, the base auto for this is not great, and I realize that's on me. A little bit more than that, actually. I'm using Control-M to open the values changer, so you can't really see that on stream, I don't think, but I'm just gonna dial my volume down a bit. I know I'm still making adjustments kind of on the fly, but like... like I said, it's been a long time. I haven't streamed in a long time. So again, just, you know, let me know how the audio is. Right, so for these, you want the pre-utterance to go here after the second consonant before the aspiration, so it's kind of gonna work like those ending dash C's. So yeah. So that's basically what this second rec list is it's just cleaning stuff up, changing some things, making it less garbage. So yeah, so I've made these this way so that it can be used in the middle of a line and you can hear both consonants clearly. And then, again, this should be the silence. Make sure that the next syllable is, oh, Jesus Christ. Make sure that the next syllable is completely cut off by the right blank, and also, for the love of God, stop between syllables in these recordings. Like, you have to. If you run them all together, it's not gonna work. I dropped something. Sorry. There it is. And the second one, which I've written like this for some reason, is, basically it works exactly the same way the CCs worked in the old list. So it goes at the end of the first consonant, the consonant parameter covers the entire second consonant, and the right blanking consonant is just silence. So these would be used to string consonant clusters together. So like if you needed herbs, you could string RB with BZ in this way and not have to guess too much about the length of stuff. And it'll also go nicely at the end of lines when you want the syllable to be just a little bit longer. And I know it does add a decent amount of otoing, but I think I made up for it by getting rid of some of the more redundant VCs and the dash Cs, which were also redundant. And B, it makes USDing a lot easier. Just a lot easier. I don't think I'm missing anything. If I am, I'll mention it later. Again, sorry to people who are watching the VOD. This is kind of a mess. But yeah, so without further ado, I'm actually going to start otoing this demo bank. A lot of the time with the dash Vs, if there's a bit of a glottal stop at the beginning, and I forgot to change my settings ahead of time to the right pitch. Shit! If you're wondering how I set param and everything, just watch CZ's VCCV set param tutorial, because it's basically the exact same thing. Right, there we go. Now we can actually see the pitch. Oh. But yeah, so usually if there's a bit of a glottal stop, I'll kind of go in a little bit just to make it a little more even. I kind of want this to be... yeah. Oh! I just remembered something I forgot to mention earlier. If you choose to record glottal stops, like, oi is... not glottal stops! What was... diphthongs! Jesus, okay. Rip. If you choose to record, diphthongs, and I totally gotta readjust the bass auto after this stream because I messed it up something serious with these. Whoopsie! Let me just find my frickin'... where are they? I'm looking through a text file with all of my, parameters and stuff, because that's where I keep it. But basically, in the final bass auto, it should be bigger like this, because, obviously, they're diphthongs, so it's actually two vowels in one. So you want to make sure the overlap and everything is on the correct side so that you can get the whole diphthong in the VC. And then you also want to make sure that when you're autoing the CV, that you cut off the diphthong with the right blink. Because otherwise you're going to get weird little glitches like ay 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 if you're using a looping resampler and it sounds really bad. That should really be anything for real this time, so I think I'm gonna carry on. And if you have any questions or anything, just let me know in the chat. Okay, I think I got it that time. Again, still, like, I'm still very much adjusting things, and... oh, what a nightmare. But hey, you know, the next one will be cleaner. In addition, the bank I'm working on right now is exclusively English. Because I decided to make two versions of the rec list this time around. There'll be one for just English and one for multilang, because I noticed a lot of people were recording it only for English, and a lot of people asked me, you know, what phonemes do I need if I'm only doing English? And so, yeah, that's what this bank that I'm working on currently is. It's just the English version of the rec list. I might do a stream tomorrow where I go over the specifics of the multilang rec list, because I did change around some phonemes and things, and again, it's just kind of fixes and cleaning up stuff that was gross and broken. So, yeah. Oh, fuck me. How did I... I'm really gonna have to clean up the bass auto for this before I give it out. Jesus Christ. But yeah, to be honest, it's pretty much exactly the same as autoing a CVVC bank. It just has a little bit, like a few more extra things. But other than that, it's, you know, it's fairly straightforward if you're used to CVVC. Yeah, because there's... why are... how did that happen? Ugh. Oh, well. And I'll go over the extras too, probably later in a different stream. But I mean, honestly, it's standard stuff. It's breaths, it's glottal stops. If you know what they are, then you already know how they work. So, and honestly, this version of the rec list was a long time coming, because it's just like a lot of stupid shit basically that I put in there that I didn't like or didn't agree with, or like it was a last minute like thing that I put in, and it kind of made sense at the time, and then later it was like, I don't know, yeah. So since this is the English version of the rec list, it doesn't include aspirated versus unaspirated consonants or anything like that. Basically, every single consonant you see in this English rec list is pronounced exactly the way you'd expect it to be in English. And one phoneme difference I'm going to highlight is I replaced double H with HY because it just made more sense. It just made more sense to do. And I've also gotten rid of the, VCs for stuff like, the small amount of CCVs that I did include, for ease of use. And also just because, again, redundant, they're identical. What else? Oh yeah, I rewrote the recording for NG in the English version of the rec list because I noticed a lot of people were having a copious amount of difficulty recording it correctly. But basically this is for transitions in words like singing, where you need the CV or else it's gonna sound wrong. And there is no G sound in this phoneme. There is none. It is just there is no G. Don't record a hard G, it's gonna make the Oto sound bad, and it's gonna make things awkward when you try to use it. A lot of this is just gonna be me looking at my bass Oto and going, God, who made this? It's terrible. And I realize it's a bit early on a Saturday morning for streaming, but I work from midnight to 6 a.m., so I'm gonna be going to bed in like 2 hours. Okay, if I could just... The one thing about this that gets kind of annoying is when you don't entirely click on the right blink and it jumps to free utterance, but honestly... Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow, that's really gross and awkward, and I might re-record that later. Oh, well. I'm also going to do streams for the deep vocal version of the rec list, which is more or less the same, but with some stuff that actually makes it work in deep vocal. And by that I mean deep vocal's not Utao, and it works completely differently. So it's definitely in your best interest to record the deep vocal specific one if you intend on using this rec list in I lost my train of thought. In deep vocal. I haven't heard this song in ages, Jesus. I'm playing my my covers in the background if you haven't noticed. So some of them are really old and I haven't heard them in ages. I'll try not to leave too much, like, empty silence, but also there's not really much else to talk about. I'm not sure if I want to change this or not. So basically, the what's going on here is this is a remnant that's left over from the Japanese VCV vowel strings. And I like having it and syllabic, like, recorded like this in English. It does help a lot with humming bits in songs and also just like general blends and stuff like that, but I'm not sure how to write it. You can see I kind of used the capital N here but the lowercase n here, and I'm not sure if those should be, because basically it needs to be different than the VC, but I also don't want to I don't want to confuse it with Xampa, which is, in this case, NG. So I don't know. I'll think about that. We'll see how that goes. Because, like, I don't know if these should both be capital N, because, like, that looks weird, doesn't it? I don't know. I'll think about it. But I do want it to be more consistent with... Anyways. As far as the voice bank I'm working on, I've called it Dashloid because of the stupid little dash I put in the Reckless name for some reason. But honestly, I don't even think I'm gonna... I don't even know if I'm gonna draw a character for this voice bank. Because I really just went, well, guess I need a demo bank, and then I recorded this. It's like 2 years ago when CV-C first came out. It was like, oh, this is a big thing, I'm really proud of this, and now it's just like, I have no energy. I'm like 10,000 different kinds of tired. And I don't care anymore, so you get what you get. Oh. And again, it's like, a lot of the questions I've gotten from, with regards to this Reckless is, do I really have to record this? Do I have to record this? Why is this in there? And it's like, man, no, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. I built this system with the intention of it being very easy to edit and remove things, and it's like I've had people say, I'm sorry I didn't record the roll-dars and the guttural noises and everything, and it's like, I don't record those. I can't even pronounce those. I put them in there so that other people can use them. But if you can't pronounce something, if you don't want to pronounce something, or if you look at, like, DD and the Japanese are, and you're the English tap and the Japanese tap, and you're like, I don't need both of these, then just don't record both of them. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. I'm also a big fan of keeping if you haven't noticed by watching this, I'm a big fan of keeping the overlap consistent throughout the entire bank. And just changing the pre-utterance for things. And I realize that other people take issue with that, or they think that the overlap needs to strictly be 1/3 of the pre-utterance, but honestly, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. No one's gonna notice unless something sounds bad. So, like, this works. And again, we want to... I say that, but also, with the CVs, it matters even less, and you really don't want the overlap being that close to the start of a hard consonant. So yeah, all of these Ks are aspirated because this is the English exclusive version of the rec list. And again, the only difference between the English version and the multi-lang version is just, it's smaller. It has less phonemes and less... I mean, it's basically just less complicated than the other one, so if you're like, I just want to record an English bank, you can record this. Oh, God. Literally every time I finish anything nowadays, it's just like, wow, I actually managed to do something. Maybe I'm not completely worthless. I'm trying to fill space because the chat. I mean, obviously, it's like noon on a Saturday morning, and no one is here. So, I'm basically just trying to fill space. Because I'm sure nobody wants to watch 30 minutes of me just staring at set param, wondering why I did this to my life. But again, anyone in the chat has questions, just hit me up. I'll answer them on stream. Doesn't even have to be questions about this. It could be questions about Animal Crossing or anything. I don't know why I said that. I don't know why Animal Crossing was the first thing that came out of my mouth, but if there's anything I've established on this stream, it's that I don't know what I'm doing, and no one should ever listen to the words I say. That's not a big fan of that. I'm gonna change that in the base auto, I think, because, yeah, it's getting really irregular towards the end of there. Oh, come on. So to recap, there's two versions of the Utah rec list, the English and the multi-language, and there's also going to be two versions of the deep vocal rec list, English and multi-language, and both multi-language lists will be available in the classic, basic, basic plus extended, and the English rec list will only be available in basic and extended because I realized the difference between basic plus and extended in the English was like one recording, so like who cares? I'm also moving soon in like the next few weeks, so I don't know if these streams are going to become like a regular thing or not, but regardless, I do plan on doing a stream for this one, the English version, the multi-language version, just to go over the odos work the same, but I want to go over, like, the phonemes that I changed and, like, the stuff that I added, and then I'm also going to do a stream for both versions of the deep vocal. Or maybe just the one version of deep vocal. Although, if they're just making a deep vocal and not new Tao, they might only watch. If the first 5 minutes of this stream demonstrated anything, it's that I am completely unprepared and I give up trying. Oh no, I don't want both. I just want this one. Really gotta take care of this. This base auto is a mess. Oh, and the rec list is also going to include, Yeah, basically the basic plus version of the, multi-lang list, the original one, was, it had the diphthongs, but it didn't have any of the extra consonants that I added into extended for... Basically to extend the compatibility of the rec list just a little bit into European languages and some other stuff, so like, just to make it a little bit more compatible with German, even though it wasn't all the way there, and stuff like that. In English, those consonants aren't there anyway, so the only difference between basic and basic plus would just be, the tap, or what I've aliased as double D, but that's one recording, and if you don't want it, just don't record it. That's kind of the rule for the entire rec list, actually. If you don't want it, don't record it. I also might re-record Kanagi at some point. My Utao. Onikanagi. But, probably not, because his voice makes me die. I'm also using, if you notice me copying and pasting numbers in, I'm using the copy-paste number sets that came with CZ's VCCV rec lists, but it's pretty much just with the overlap, half the pre-utterance, and you know, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, that was the other thing. That was the other thing. Those were only extended. But in the English version, it's like you don't need the unaspirated K's, T's, and P's. So I didn't include them. Include them. Presamp. That might be useful. I have no idea how presamp works. I've never used it. I've always just used auto CVVC. Or just did it by hand because it's not that complicated, really. But anyways, so... yeah, basically the only difference between Basic Plus and Extended, it only made a difference in the multi-lang version and not in the English version, if that makes sense. So I just cut out Basic Plus entirely in the English version. It'll still be there in the multi-lang if you want to not mess around with all those extra consonants. But, yeah. Also, if you don't see me adjust the right blank on the consonant on these, it's because I don't care. To be honest, the way you do the consonant and the right blanks on these VCs doesn't make a huge difference. Which is why in VCCV, CZ just says, you know, don't bother with it, and just you know, fix it in the UST, which is valid because those banks have, like, a huge Oto, and why would you want to spend 300 years trying to fix a bunch of right blanks if it's not going to make a difference? But, you know. I would be interested in seeing a presamp preset for it, though. That sounds great. Although it would have to be different between the first version and the second version, just because, again, I changed around a little bit of the phonetics to make it less stupid. And I'll go over that in the next stream when I do the multi-lang version, because in the English version you can't really tell, because all of the consonants are pretty straightforward here. Because it's just English, and I'm not trying to ham-fist multiple languages into one bank. Boy. That was weird. And, like, a lot of the... basically the Otoing method I kind of went over. It's mostly just a guideline. Like, do whatever you want. I'm not gonna, like, break down your house door just to tell you that I think you're doing it wrong. Because I have real problems. I have a life. I don't care what you do. Just don't say that you wrote it, and then everything else, we're Gucci. Also, like, no, I don't want to paste. It's weird. It's weird going back to recording English when you're really used to recording Japanese. Like, I have to catch myself, like, actually trying to use native. Like, I have to force myself to use native pronunciation, which is weird, but, like, I've been recording Japanese and other languages for so long that it's like my brain just kind of flips the switch into hopefully passable accent mode, and that makes my English sound weird. Like, I noticed that when I was working with Bunny's VCVE bank, that the accent is a little bit worse than her VCCV bank, just because of the way I recorded it. Please tell me that was on the right syllable. I don't have the... Okay, good. I do not have the energy for this. Because the thing is, like, a great time for me to stream would have been, like, 6 hours ago when I got off work. Maybe an hour later after I took a nap. But, like, regardless, it's Saturday morning and nobody's awake. At least it's Saturday morning in the United States. I don't know where y'all are, but, ugh, gotta be careful. My new laptop has a touch screen, which is very, very weird. I don't know how much of this bank I'm actually going to do on stream. But we'll see what I feel like, and or if my dad comes home with food. I gotta use Lily again. I keep thinking that, and then I never tune anything with her. Also, I have a commissions website now. And I don't even think I put, like, anything in the description of this video, but I think I'm gonna, sorry about that. I can't believe I didn't set this up properly ahead of time. I'm so sorry. Alrighty. So we should be... Description is set. Hopefully. If you're not seeing it, you might want to refresh the page. But, yeah, I've linked my tutorial commission website. Not my I don't do commissions for tutorials. I do commissions for Otos and deep vocal configurations. And that is now linked in the description. It's weird. You'd think that you'd just be like, oh yeah, I'll just do a stream again, but it's been like years, and I've completely lost any and all sense of direction when it comes to these things. So again, massive apologies for being a complete mess of a human being. I think I want to at least get the first set of vowels done. And then maybe, hopefully... Did I tune this cover? Okay, I did. This one's really old. This was like right when I got Gumi for the first time, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm trying to decide if I'm embarrassed of this or not. Volume's too quiet for me to really tell if it's bad. Odds are the mixing isn't great. I wasn't great at mixing. I'm still not great at mixing, but like at least now it's passable, hopefully. As far as when this version of the rec list is actually like officially gonna come out, who knows, my dudes? Who knows? I'm thinking I'm just gonna be able to like make the demo banks, which are basically variations of the same make, if I'm being honest. You know, make a couple, like, demo covers and then just throw it out there, and then y'all can do whatever you want with it. we go. I don't know. I remember I used to stream a lot just because, like, it kept me on task and it kept me... it was mostly... I just had to make sure that I dedicated a part of my time to making sure that that Oto got done. So I would stream it, and now we're here. Commentary. Oh my god. Oh, piss. Consonant in that one's a lot shorter than it normally is. Oh, that's why! Oh, God. Yep. I'm gonna have to fix that in the bass Oto. Fucking hell. They're all on the wrong syllable because I'm dumb. Oh, please tell me that didn't fuck up the rest of the... Okay, good. As far as the rest of it, I'm just gonna have to fix it when I cut to it. Jesus. So the reason why... Okay, quick just touching on this. I know these are technically CCVs, and none of the other CCVs in the entire bank have VCs. These do, and these do because this is very different from the normal H sound, and you can definitely tell. Like, there's a reason why CZ had H and double H, and there's also the reason why I wrote it as double H instead of HY in the other one, is because it's actually a different phoneme, and it's really noticeable in Utal. But, yeah, so those, these have VCs because this is actually a different H sound. And it sounds weird if you don't have it. Okay, so everything about this part is wrong. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, hang on. And this is why I'm Otoing the bank before I give out the frickin' rec list, because that would have been a disaster. Ugh. I mean, honestly, the first release was clumsy enough, and this one's gonna be even more clumsy because I don't have beta testers or the will to live. But yeah, I mean, as long as as long as the pre-utterance is in basically the right place, like, it'll mostly work anyways. The rest of this is just for making it sound nicer. Like, having the overlap with, like, a really nice, consistent vowel between it and the left blank basically just makes the crossfade a lot clearer. And then you can preserve, if it's between the overlap and the pre-utterance, the crossfade won't touch it at all. So this kind of preserves this transitional point between the vowel and the consonant. And then this just stops it from, like, doubling up or whatever. Or stuttering like it does when you use a VCCV voice bank and don't edit the UST. But honestly, if you didn't want to even bother with the consonant and the right blanks on the VCs, you probably wouldn't have to. Or if you wanted to set it someplace differently. Like, if you wanted to do, like, something like this so that you could try and get more pull out of this noiseless consonant, it might make funny noises in the Utao if you stretch it too far, but otherwise, you know, who cares? Do whatever you want. Odds are you're coming into this with your own opinions on how Otoing works, or you just don't know anything about Otoing and you're gonna do, you know, the way I do it anyways. But, like, if you already have your set way of doing things, then just do it that way. I'm not... I'm just rambling. Oh, rambling and tired. It's been an hour? How? I can't believe I just rambled at a camera for an hour and didn't even realize it. Wow. Fuck. Normally I make a lot more progress on Odos in an hour, but I've been trying to, like, talk and tutorialize, so it's kind of slowing down. Gosh, the engine noise in this one was really bad. I remember thinking that when I was mixing it. It was just, damn, the engine noise in this one was bad. Oh, I also rewrote some of the recordings, because basically the old CV-C list was written off of a CVVC Japanese list that I was using, and so sometimes it had, like... And that one had VCs for all of the CCVs in Japanese, so, like, Pia and all that. And, so it had the PI and PA switched on those ones, but not on the other ones. and it was kind of annoying. So basically I've just reset the recordings so that it's more consistent. Fuck. So, ideally, on the final release, this base Odo is going to be cleaned up enough that all you'll have to do is, like, click the pre-utterance into the right place and move on. Because that's how I prefer to Odo, the easy way. Instead of manually adjusting literally everything, because that takes 5,000 years, and I don't have time for that. And no one else does, really. I love this remix, though. It's really nice. Cherry might also be getting a new bank soon. Eventually. And by soon, I mean between now and the time I die. Just because, again, I've cleaned up the rec list, and so it would be about right for her to get a new bank, I think. Fuck. But yeah, basically I got rid of the dash Cs because I don't even use those. And if I don't even use it, no one's gonna use it. Like, I'm just gonna level with you. I put a lot of things into the first CV-C list because I was just like, this sounds like a good idea. And then it wasn't. Okay, come on. I also want to re-record Charity because a lot of the time she just sounds like she's dying. Like, even more than Kanagi sounds like he's dying, which is odd because when I record Kanagi, I'm actually dying. But who knows, after I move, I might be doing Oda streams more regularly again, like I used to. So, yeah. But as far as when I'm gonna have all this set up, who fucking knows, man? Just, who even knows? Oof, Gumi. Also, fun fact, I didn't actually tune this. Like, I literally just forgot to add pitch bends. And then I rendered it and mixed it, and I was like, well, too late now. Where it really gets complicated is in the deep vocal one, because oh boy, is there some convoluted shit I have to pull to make this work in deep vocal. I'm gonna be honest, making a deep vocal bank kind of sucks. It's really difficult, and it's not entirely worth it in the end, because deep vocal is really kind of limited in what you can do at the moment. But I like it for that reason. I like it because it's challenging and it makes me want to die. That's the only reason I stick with this hobby, to be honest, is because it's challenging. And when things get too easy, I tend to lose focus, which is why I haven't been making a lot of covers recently, is just... I mean, that, and, like, the world has been on fire. And odds are, if you have a CV-C bank already, you can probably just change around some of the aliases and, like, take stuff out and not even have to re-record. Because I really didn't change that much, like, functionally. Like, in the back end, it might still look like a mess, but, front end-wise in Utao, it's gonna work basically the same way, except for the handful of phonemes that I changed. Oof, gooey. I wish I could remember how I got her to whisper like that, though. Because I can't figure it out in Vocaloid anymore. I just can't get it. Like, literally, I made a cover of Null with, Cull, which you might have seen if you follow my SoundCloud. And I used Tato for the Screamo bits because I just couldn't get Vocaloid to do it. And I can't get it to happen in the mix either, so I don't know what I did there, but it worked pretty well, and I want to figure it out. Yeah, hopefully after I move, I'll be able to stream, A, more frequently, and B, at more normal times than noon on a Saturday when everyone's still probably asleep. I know I'd be if I didn't work midnight to 6 a.m. I'd be asleep. But yeah, it's important that you have a decent amount of space both before and after the recording so that this silence can exist. That's kind of important. And it's also important to make sure that you don't actually cut off this. I've odoed banks on commissions where people have literally cut off the front consonant of the recording, and there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing anyone can do about that. The recording is just broken now because you didn't allow silence before you recorded. Please. This bank isn't even gonna sound good. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm going through this voice bank and I'm thinking, you know, no one's gonna use this. I'm just doing this so that you have, like, an example. Because otherwise there wouldn't be any examples or anything, because... And also, it's good to test your Odo before you give it out to people, which I realized just now. And you saw me realize when I was talking about the diphthongs and shit, like... Christ. Tell you what though, Utsupi has been on an absolute roll lately, and I adore his music so much. And it's just like every time I turn around there's a new song. Like the second I recover from being absolutely blown away by the last song, he posts another one. And it's great. It's an endless cycle of my mind being blown by hardcore Vocaloid beats. If me singing along is annoying, I don't care. You know that meme? That meme of, like, the dad from Coraline, and he's at his computer, and he looks like 3,000 years have passed, and he hasn't moved from his computer? That's what I feel like right now. That's the current mood. Just... ugh. No. Yeah. don't like that. I don't like that at all. But yeah, my commissions are totally open if this stream has not already filled you with confidence in my ability to auto a bank. That's the other thing I want to point out is that the dumbass capital R's in the main list are not in the English only list. They're just normal R's like a normal person would write in a normal Utaureg list. I'm still not sure about changing the capital R's because I don't want it to become completely incompatible with old banks and the USTs that already exist. But also, who the fuck thought that was a good idea? I mean, I know the answer is me. But yikes. Okay. Just doesn't work at all. I mean, it's not as big of a problem in Deep Vocal because Deep Vocal already is a thing. You know, it doesn't use the RS that Utau uses. But it just, man, questionable decision. Really questionable decision. And like, should I change it now? Is it too late? I ran a Twitter poll on it a while ago, and the result was as inconclusive as all my Twitter polls are. I have the worst luck with Twitter polls because they always end up like straight down the middle. The mixing on this one was really bad, but I kind of like how Bunny sounds nonetheless. I'm just commenting on my covers in the background because it's been an hour and a half and I'm extremely tired. Oh. Ugh. Shit. Please. Ugh. I was about to say I'm tired and I need to go to bed, so I was going to turn the stream off, but I'm proud of this one. I want to listen to it. Oh good, glad to know that I didn't edit the left links on these at all. But yeah, you see how I recorded this where it's just the flat nasal and then the next vowel? These ones you do want to run together. I know I said the other ones you don't run together, these ones you do. And the way you tell is it has dashes instead of the double underscore, which I went over with the other one, but some people are still kind of confused about. And I can see why it would be confusing, because these are written the same way, where it's like, you know, VC instead of CV. But yeah. Like I said, these are for transition purposes, and they are important. But I understand why native English speakers would have a lot of problems, like, pronouncing this string if it was written as CVs instead of VCs. Because I know I would have, when I first started, like, I taught myself to do that. It didn't entirely turn out very well. Fuck. Oh, God. No. No. I messed up the whole thing. Oh. Right, well, with this grievous error in left blanks, as you can see demonstrated for you here, I think I'm just gonna fix this real quick and then go to bed because I'm very, very tired. And, like, I keep saying that, but, like, I'm so close to almost, like, the threshold of getting all of these CVs done. And, like, I've made decent progress, but it wasn't, like, amazing. Ugh. But yeah, these R's are just the English R, because to do anything else would be silly. It's an English bank. Why would the R make the noise that you expect it to make? And that's what's really tearing me up about the R's in the multi-lang list. Is just, like, the R should make the sound, the letter R should make the sound that you expect the letter R to make. But it's, the only language that uses the English R is English, and that's why they call it an English R. Because it's a dumbass phoneme that shouldn't exist. And so obviously, the R character there represents the more normal R. But then what do I use for the English R when we already have RH, RR, and the normal R? And capital R is a rest. If you have an answer, please list it in the comments. Because I have a feeling the chat is mostly asleep, and so am I. No offense to anyone still lurking in the chat. It's just that I'm very tired. Ugh. Tuning on this cover was fine, but it was... Did some really bad work with the... Right, well, I don't know why that happened or how. Alright. I gotta be done. I gotta be done. I'm dying. It's bedtime and I gotta tie this off. Thanks for coming, everybody who came. Thanks for watching the stream VOD. If you're watching this on stream VOD, I gotta go to bed, so I'll see you on the flip side.